welcome back to the Stronghold Ryse Pro Wrestling, October 12th of 2019. My name is Jim Amata, being joined by Pittsburgh legend Paul Atlas. And Paul, tonight in the second round in the Rise of a Contender tournament.
That's right, tonight we're going to take one.
Introducing his opponent. From Columbus, Ohio, weighing in tonight at 189 pounds, he is the Appalachian Werewolf, Tyler Voxx.
And speaking of that Rise of a Contender tournament, Paul, this man, Tyler Voxx, had a tremendous showing last month here in the Stronghold. However, he was bested by Christian Noir. So you know that Tyler Voxx is looking to prove himself here tonight to keep himself on the radar of the ever-competitive Rise landscape.
That's true. Tyler Voxx actually taking the blame for not avenging Chase Winters' loss to Christian Noir at Uprise, where Chase Winters failed to join the Rise roster. Voxx is putting a little blame on himself for not getting that measure of revenge.
Back him up. Check him, please. He came in with a wolf mask.
Check the guy on the
Please
booth.
check. He already
Just
checked
seems
it.
kind of spooky.
Check the shiny pants.
Very smug as always is Dr. Dan.
At least, if nothing else, yeah, he follows suit.
Eyes clean.
The man is wrestling in the top.
Good luck with that.
Opening bell here, being brought to you by IndyWrestling.us and the Indie Wrestling Network. Both of these very talented athletes have been on somewhat of a slump in recent months. As we said, Tyler Voxx being eliminated in that Rise of the Contender tournament. So certainly these two will look to reestablish themselves here. And we're seeing Rockingham use his power advantage for this Greco-Roman knuckle lock. But the aggression of Voxx is quite literally willing him back to his feet here. And Dr. Dan doesn't have to keep those shoulders off the canvas as well.
Yeah, he had himself in a real precarious position there.
And what a maneuver into the omoplata lock. Has both arms hooked. And that's one thing about Dr. Dan, Paul, we have to mention. He comes out here touting his self-help system. He's so annoying, he gives me highs. However, he is a very talented athlete inside those ring locks.
Oh, he definitely has a sound base in professional wrestling. There's no two ways about that. Like you said, he's a little on the annoying side, but you cannot take away from that experience in that ring. Cinching in on that front face lock now is Daniel C. Rockingham.
I wonder where he got his doctor from, Paul.
Oh, I can only imagine.
He claims Yale, but I have reason to dispute that.
Maybe the forklift company.
Dr. Dan turned his back. He's going to pay for it here. Backslide, shoulders down. Finds just two. And Dr. Dan hesitated. You can't do that against Tyler Voxx. This guy is ultra aggressive and ultra talented, as you're going to see it here. Springboard arm drag off the ropes, and the good doctor is all out of sorts.
Yeah, Tyler Voxx definitely with the speed advantage in this matchup.
And he can really generate some momentum off of that speed, but got caught coming in.
He hesitated to pause and tip his hat to the fans, so to speak. And Daniel C. Rockingham is a little bit more intelligent to fall for that.
He telegraphed it. Got caught in the back of the head. Into the back cracker.
Wow.
And that's what I'm telling you. Tyler Voxx can generate momentum from absolutely anywhere. Any scenario, any situation, Tyler Voxx remains dangerous.
How many times have we seen him use that ring as a tag team partner?
Come on. You need to check your time.
A nice leverage move from Dr. Dan.
Hey.
It's not ethical, but it worked.
It was a clip-on. Go figure.
Not exactly the height that his running buddy David Wallace gets.
No. Not even close.
He's my tag
And
team
let's not
partner,
forget,
Lewis.
speaking of David Lawless, he's been petitioning since the exit of Marcus Mann to become the new Rise general manager. Can you imagine
God
that?
help us all.
People like
Could you imagine if that shyster was our general manager?
Paul, I'm not a religious man, but God help us if David Wallace gets any power.
I hear you, brother.
Axe kick, and that's what I'm telling you. I believe that some of the bravado can be deceiving from Dr. Dan because he can be a vicious athlete inside those ring ropes.
Oh, he definitely can.
The axe kick to the spine is proof of that. And Dr. Dan knew exactly when to cut him off. Snap suplex, floats over, lateral press, not enough body-on-body contact there.
Yeah, he also did not hook that leg. You're not going to pin a man like Tyler Voxx that way.
Let's not forget, Tyler Voxx, despite being on a slump in terms of a win-loss record, did earn his way here to Ryse, worked his way up through the ranks of Uprise, and has really proved himself. He has all the talent. He just needs to find the right path once again.
Well, he's definitely one who's going to be a top contender here at Ryse.
Plenty of hair.
The hair doesn't exist, though.
And finally, the arm.
And again, that bravado is going to come back to bite Dr. Dan.
Yeah, taking a little too much time to jaw with our ringside fans there, and it's now costing him as here comes Tyler Voxx back with a vengeance.
That kick to the hamstring can really be disabling. And Dr. Dan is quite literally crumbling in the corner here.
Voxx is measuring him.
His arrogance may cost him in this one. But look out, this is what I'm talking about. Pump kick, running in, caught Voxx in the temple. Again, a lateral press, but you can see there just was not enough body-on-body contact to evenly distribute the weight across the shoulders of Tyler Voxx.
That and the fundamentally hooking the leg was lacking there as well. You got to hook that leg if you want to get a pinfall.
You need them. And here's a reminder.
Oh, are you kidding me? We're gonna have time to plug the self-help system.
Well, you got to give him credit. He can lock in an abdominal stretch and read.
Yeah, he's multitasking. We got a damn infomercial on IndyWrestling.us. Well, technically that pamphlet is a foreign object. George Ross is doing the right decision here.
He needs to give that up, that's for sure.
Voxx, jawbreaker to fight his way out. And again, Rockingham hits the canvas, and Voxx hits Rockingham once again.
Right to the back of the
Does
skull.
hook that leg, but it was that left shoulder that was exposed, allowing Rockingham to escape there. And I believe he may be having some of those self-help lessons for lunch.
Yes, he is. Choking on his own words, so to speak.
How apropos is that? Rockingham is in a bad way here. Oh, man, throat shot. Lawn darts Voxx into the buckles. This could be it.
Feet on the ropes. The referee saw it, though. Rockingham trying to use that bottom rope for leverage, and referee George, he was right on top of it.
And I gotta say it, Paul. Rockingham, we've sung his praises. He's a tremendous in-ring athlete, but his lack of morality can leave much to be desired.
Oh, he hangs out with David Lawless. What's that say about him?
This guy is a shill. Look out, Rockingham caught him. I don't know who got the worst of that.
That was a little ugly there. I think both men absorbed that blow.
Very awkward landing. And Dr. Dan may have hurt his back in that exchange. You saw him reaching for the lumbar region of the back, the most susceptible spot to damage.
But also, he's the first one to his feet, so I think Tyler Voxx got the majority of that.
Well, this is fierce competition. We know that. And Dr. Dan gets dropped on the back of his neck.
Yeah, beautiful German suplex.
These two know, Paul, their backs are against the wall, so to speak. Neither one of these athletes wants to chalk up another loss here at Ryse.
No, not at all. You go back down to the bottom of the pile, you lose a match like this.
Such a big night here. We're going to see the second round of the Rise of Contender tournament, as we mentioned. And this showboating will come back to bite Rockingham.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You cannot do this in Ryse. The caliber of athletes we have here is just too great.
See you, buddy.
Very precarious position for Rockingham.
Lost his footing there, and now he finds himself upside down.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Now wait a minute, Rockingham using referee George Ross as a shield.
Get off of me!
I think Rockingham just... Did he try to scrape Voxx in the eyes?
He did.
Pump handle bomb.
He got
And
him.
Rockingham steals it by nefarious means.
Over this match as a result of pinfall, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham!
Daniel Rockingham stealing a victory here in our opening bout tonight.
I'm not sure if he scraped the eyes with that pamphlet or what, but Dr. Dan, like a true snake oil salesman, has stolen a victory here.
Introducing first, being accompanied by Derek Direction from Salem, Massachusetts, standing at 5 feet tall, the Black Rose, Megan
Talking to you, man.
Meyers.
What'd you do to make that guy mad?
I don't know.
And introducing her opponents, hailing from where the wild things are, weighing in tonight at 238 pounds, he is the Bearcat, Keith Haught!
Well, Paul, in our opening matchup, we talked about Tyler Voxx trying to rebound from that loss in the first round of the Ryse to the Contender tournament. Keith Haught is in that very same boat because last month we saw the Bearcat come up short after a fantastic contest against Tony Johnson. But not only is Keith Haught faced with trying to rebound from that defeat, he is also in there with the Black Rose that grew from the macabre garden of the Grindhouse in Megan Meyers.
Yeah, we have not seen Megan Meyers in this building since that war between Ryse and the Grindhouse. I shudder to think what she's been up to in that time. You know, I've seen my share of creepy chicks in my time, and they're kind of cool, but this one even scares me.
Let's not forget Meg Meyers,
Just get over me first.
despite being about 5 feet tall and about 115 pounds, is as dangerous as anybody. And the Bearcat is usually a very fun-loving individual. Oh, my God. But even he is taken aback at this very disturbed young lady.
All right, well, go with that.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Get him, Keith.
Collar and elbow tie-up here. And, let's let any of the gender stereotypes get out of the way because Keith Haught needs to go at it full board, and we're seeing Meg Meyers snacking on the digits of the Bearcat.
Yeah, you might want to forget that she's a woman, Keith, real quick, because you know what? She'll smack you in the mouth if you give her the chance.
Paul, she was biting the man. And
You saw
turnabout fair
catering
play.
earlier. There wasn't a lot of good food there.
I'm begging for a Permane sponsorship. Keith Haught using his size advantage, going to back Meyers in the corner.
And I think that's hurting Meg a little more than it is Keith right now.
Paul, she's enjoying this.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to care.
And I believe that Keith Haught just realized that he's in there with an athlete. He's in there for a fight.
Yeah, he's got to push the male-female thing to the side. Oh, she's enjoying this. This chick, she craves punishment. She digs punishment.
a sadist if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
And you can see the welts on the Bearcat's body. But he may put this one away early.
And driving that knee into Meg Meyers. I'm surprised she was able to kick out there.
You know, Paul, let's not forget that Keith Haught came so close on more than one occasion to winning that grand championship.
Oh, if you look at it technically, he was able to gain a victory over Matt Conard. Unfortunately, the referee was out cold at the time.
And that's where Keith Haught today, here on October 12th of 2019, finds himself trying to reassert himself. Because at the end of the day, he can't get hung up on what ifs.
No, he can't. And, you know, if you're looking to climb that ladder, this is an interesting place to start with the Black Rose, Megan Meyers.
And again, this is what I'm telling you. She likes to inflict pain.
Oh, she likes to inflict pain. She likes to have pain inflicted on her. This chick's just nuts.
And you can hear the contact from those shots. I'm not sure a suplex would suit the Black Rose.
Surprised she's going to attempt a maneuver like this.
Well, she's crazy. She's out there. She's one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Stiff headbutt from the Bearcat. Up and over. She got over.
Yeah, I don't think she can get Keith over. Hold on. Look out here.
Avoided the contact and saved her life.
Yes, she did. She has Keith Haught well scouted. She knew exactly where he was going.
Launching herself like a kamikaze at the Bearcat, hooks the inside leg.
And, you know, I know we talk about, you know, throwing out the gender stereotypes, but let's face the facts here. I mean, Keith is a very big man, and I don't think someone the size of Meg Meyers is going to be able to keep him down for a 3 count. And that's taking nothing away from Megan Meyers.
She just buried that knee into the spine. And this is where, male or female, his size advantage is going to come into play because he's able to get back up to a vertical base here and get himself off the canvas. But she is going to scratch and claw and bite and anything else that she can do to inflict punishment on her opponents here.
She's going to do whatever it takes. She doesn't care. She'll beat him with the referee if she has to.
Big Josh better watch out. We've seen it. No one is safe around the grindhouse.
Absolutely not.
I believe we're seeing a very intense side of the Bearcat as well.
He's going to have to be if he's going to walk out of this with a victory. It's going to take a lot to get this young lady to quit.
And Meg Meyers is going more for a rear naked choke here than she is a standard headlock.
Yeah, that's exactly what she's trying to establish there.
Myers gets squashed in the corner. And again.
Yeah, Keith Haught using that size advantage right there.
Oh, man. Palm strike.
But, I mean, yes, these shots are rocking Megan Meyers, but look at it. It doesn't look like they're really having that much of an effect. I don't think she...
5 minutes on 5 minutes.
She felt that.
That she did.
She got squashed.
Beautiful short arm clothesline.
And we're seeing the intensity of the Bearcat escalate here. Because much like Tyler Voxx in our opening matchup, Keith Haught, especially after getting so close to that championship and coming up short, he has to prove a point here. With no water in the pool that time, and you can't give the Black Rose a second chance.
Yeah, Keith Haught has definitely got to start climbing that ladder again, and that begins tonight. He's got to get a victory over Megan Meyers here.
Look out. Lands on her feet. Caught a kick, I believe, I don't know if it's in the back of the head or the temple, but it put her down to the canvas, but will it be enough? Because quite frankly, she's absorbing this punishment.
Keith Haught is calling for that bonsai. Whoa! Hey, did we pay the light bill? Brandon, did you forget to send the check in? The lights have gone out here at the... Are we even on the air?
Everything... Paul, what's going on?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't even know if we're still on the air. We may be talking to ourselves for all I... What in the world?
What was that?
It looked like, to me, no, cameraman's getting, that is the mask of Christian Noir. Where did that come from?
Wait, look out here. Myers got it. We were all distracted, and Myers.
The winner of this match as a result of a pinfall, the Black Rose.
lost power for some reason. The lights went out.
That was a little bit too convenient, Paul.
And when the lights came back on, the Bearcat was staring directly into the mask of Christian Noir, and that distraction was just enough for Megan Meyers to come up with a 3-count victory. This is a huge blow to the career of Keith Haught, and I gotta say it, a huge win for Megan Meyers.
Paul, there may be no exorcising the demons of the grindhouse from the stronghold.
I don't think so at this point. They're still everywhere, and in every match out here, it seems like.
Introducing first, from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in tonight at 195 pounds, he is the Iceman, Tony Johnson!
Perhaps the odds-on favorite in this Rise of a Contender tournament. Ironically, we saw Tony Johnson defeat Keith Haught, the man we just saw out here against Megan Meyers. Johnson defeated Keith in the opening round of this tournament last month. Here, the semifinal round. We will see if the Iceman is destined for that Rise Grand Championship.
And a fact that was brought to my attention earlier today, Tony Johnson has been undefeated in singles action since he lost that Ironman match to Matt Conard in June of 2018.
And introducing his opponent, from Las Vegas, Nevada, standing at 4 feet 11 inches tall, she's bloody adorable, Ziggy Haim!
Ziggy Haim, a young lady who declared her career, her journey would not be defined by 4 letters. She believes in herself. She believes in Ziggy Haim. And Ziggy could be on her way, on her path to becoming the first female Rise Grand Champion.
Yeah, but Jim, if you look, Ziggy Haim, she has those ribs taped up after that big match 2 weeks ago with Max, who actually attacked Ziggy at our last event here at the Stronghold for Ryse Wrestling. And Ziggy is still feeling the effects of that, as you can see by the taped up ribs.
And that may play into this strategy. Ziggy may know she's on borrowed time because of those injured ribs. She may try to get out of here as fast as possible.
And that's exactly what she's doing. She's going right after Tony Johnson, trying to hit and stick and get out of here as quickly as she can.
You can see even in that brief exchange, Ziggy reached for the ribs.
Yeah, that little bit of short offense on her part, and it's still affecting her. So I can only imagine if Tony Johnson gets his hands on her. You know, if offense is hurting those ribs, defense, you know, is really going to put her in jeopardy here tonight.
And Johnson is quite literally on the run.
A little high step in there.
I believe he's trying to extend this matchup. Look out.
I don't know if this is a smart maneuver here.
This could be a short night.
Ziggy, I need you inside. Let's go. On the hair, come on.
And again, we're seeing a sense of urgency from Ziggy. She knows that she can win the matchup in the ring. And she brings Johnson in the hard way.
Yeah, we don't know the full extent of her injury, but I'd fathom to say it's pretty severe just by the way Ziggy seems to be trying to get in and out of this match as quickly as possible, giving herself some time, hopefully, to heal up should she move on tonight.
And you know as well as I do, Paul, that she wouldn't be wearing that tape around those ribs unless it was absolutely necessary because she was putting an inadvertent target on that injury. That's why you see Johnson zeroing on it right now.
Without a doubt. She's pretty much saying, hit me in the ribs by wearing that bandage out here tonight. And you know an athlete like Tony Johnson, he is going to take advantage of everything that he can now. Big boot to the ribs there.
The monstrous Max earned her way into Ryse by that victory at Uprise just 2 weeks ago. And dare I say, Paul, because of the injured ribs going into that particular matchup, Ziggy lost a one-sided decision against Max.
Oh, this has been a snowball effect ever since Max attacked Ziggy at our last match after her first round victory in the Rise of a Contender tournament. It has been all downhill for Ziggy Haim with this injury.
And quite frankly, and indirectly, Max may end up costing Ziggy her chance at that championship shot at the end of this tournament.
That could very well happen here tonight.
Slingshot. And again.
Yeah, just hammering into those ribs.
An ode to Telly Blanchard of sorts.
Without a doubt. He'd be proud. But, you know, let's talk about this a little bit. Each and every impact on those ribs. I don't know if you've ever had broken ribs before, Jim, but it is impossible to breathe. And every impact is making it that much harder for her to breathe.
You can see the pain etched on her face here. And I talked about it in the opening round of this tournament. Her self-belief may be undeniable. However, her body may give out.
Well, yeah, let's face it. She might not just be putting on the line her chance at becoming the first ever Ryse Grand Champion as a female. She may be putting her career on the line by continuing in this tournament the way she is.
I'm not sure that Haim is going to be able to continue here, Paul. You can hear her wheezing to try to get breath. And that's why Johnson is going to latch on like a pit bull with a body lock.
And, you know, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I can't blame Tony Johnson for attacking that rib area.
No, it's all legal maneuvers.
He has not crossed the line yet.
And what a bridge, adding more force, more torque to the rib cage. Hooks the leg here. Such a smooth transition with these maneuvers from the Iceman.
And let's face it, Tony Johnson was here in that first round tournament himself. He saw what happened to Ziggy. He saw the attack by Max, and I'm sure he was watching us live as we were here for Uprise and saw the damage that Max did, and he has worked on those ribs from the very beginning of this match.
And of course, if any of our viewing audience is not familiar with what happened at Uprise, cover here. Uprise exclusively on the Indie Wrestling Network. Make sure you sign up there, $5.99 a month, and you can see that vicious matchup as Max quite literally ragdolled Ziggy around the very ring that she's in right now.
Yeah, not many things make me uncomfortable in this business, but watching that beating that Ziggy Haim took was definitely one of them.
And Johnson, extra torque for extra impact.
Down on those ribs again.
Twisting backbreaker.
You know, I have to place emphasis on this. Not only could Ziggy Haim lose her opportunity to become the Ryse Grand Champion during this tournament with that injury, she could lose her career.
Just die.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
Just for you, if you almost died.
As Red gives us the 5-minute call, Paul. The surge for Ziggy Haim may be coming to a very abrupt end here.
Yeah, this has been an uncomfortable 5 minutes watching this young lady take all this punishment.
And it's been relatively one-sided again. And we know that Ziggy is one of the toughest, most game competitors. She is as game as anyone. She is as durable as anybody. She puts her game face on, and she'll fight anybody.
Yeah,
But it's the injury, Paul.
Yeah.
And that won't help it either.
And I'm telling you right now, she's not going to quit on her own.
It's hard to breathe.
And certainly no mercy from the Iceman.
You're not going to get any with him.
But you're not going to get a victory with a lackadaisical cover like that.
No, but he's also going to continue to punish those ribs by placing all that pressure on him. Ziggy can barely sit, let alone stand right now.
Ziggy quite literally on the ropes here, pulling herself back up to her feet. Win, lose, or draw, we're seeing the tenacity and the determination that have really defined her career.
Oh, without a doubt, but at what cost is it going to be?
Well, we're going to find that out as this matchup progresses, as she just collapses in the corner. And I'm not, as you said, I'm not trying to sell her short either, but I'm worried about her health here, Paul.
Yeah, this could be her. I've said it many times already throughout this match, but I can't help but say it
She
again.
got caught and dropped across the buckles.
Yeah, this could be her career. This match could definitely end her career.
You know, Ziggy has been a very positive force both inside and outside of Ryse. She's been an advocate for self-empowerment, self-improvement, self-belief. But as you said, her career could be in jeopardy.
I'm not going to deny any of that. She's a very upbeat young lady. Every time I see her in the back, she's always got a smile on her face. But right now, this goes beyond wrestling. This is livelihood right here. She could be permanently injured.
And I'm not trying to take anything away from her, Paul, but I think referee Nick Davidson needs to make a judgment call here.
Stop standing there, Tony.
But she's still getting back to her feet. So it's, I mean, if you're Nick Davidson, it puts you in a bad spot.
It does for sure, because I mean,
how do you stop a matchup when Ziggy's on her feet?
She keeps trying to fight back, yeah.
But again, I just don't want to see this young lady have her bright career cut short.
I mean, the ref knows what's on the line here, not with this Rise of a Contender tournament.
And that's exactly it. You can't. I don't know if Nick Davidson could live with himself if he took that chance away from Ziggy.
But like I said before, this young lady is not going to quit on her own. Somebody may have to make that decision for her.
And one of the things that we've seen here, Paul, as this tournament determines the #1 contender for that championship at our 3rd anniversary show, December 14th, the losers in this tournament that are defeated throughout this tournament essentially go to the back of the line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really feast or famine. It's either a home run and you get a title shot on Ryse's biggest stage, or you're going to the back of the line in the process.
And we've already had several competitors go to the back of that line already.
Come on, Tony.
And you can see the determination on the face of Ziggy.
Oh,
she just can't string any offense together.
No, all it takes is one shot to those ribs. And down she goes again. Each time she tries to pick herself up and gain some momentum, Tony Johnson comes back with a shot to the ribs and puts her right back down.
That's where you go. 3. There's a difference, Tony.
I think the Iceman may be taking this young lady a little bit too lightly. He's having too much fun.
Breathe, let alone walk.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But then again, that's been a trademark of Tony's career.
I honestly
think he's very brash.
I honestly think at this point he could end this match right now if he wants. He's trying to put an exclamation point on his victory by also hurting Ziggy Haim.
Perhaps he wants to make his own statement, as you said, his own point, ahead of potentially advancing to the finals. Ziggy hits the buckle as Johnson follows her in. And you have to think that Max is grinning like a Kesher cat somewhere watching this.
Yeah, let's face it. Tony Johnson is a 195-pound, well-built individual. There's a lot of weight behind those blows.
He's got her box in the corner, and again, this is getting uncomfortable to watch.
10 minutes gone by, 10 minutes.
This has been, as you heard.
And I'm not sure taking things to the ropes here is even necessary.
No, it's definitely not. Wait a minute. Ziggy slips out.
And she may have found her 2nd or 3rd win, Paul. We talked about self-belief. Perhaps Ziggy Haim will not be denied in this tournament.
At this point, she just may be completely numb of the pain anymore and is now fighting back.
She's incensed, Paul.
She's going.
Could be going for that crucifix bomb. Wait a minute, Johnson caught her.
He definitely countered it. Oh, wow, Samoan drop.
And her body ricocheted on impact there.
Just driving all the wind and possibly the life out of Ziggy Haim right now. But once again, she's getting to her feet. I am amazed at this.
Ziggy won't stay down.
Oh, my.
But she
There's
may
that
get
kick.
put down.
And there's a silence right now over the stronghold.
And that'll do it.
The winner of this match, as a result of a pinfall, the Iceman, Tony Johnson!
Ziggy had a dream that she believed in to be that first female Ryse Grand Champion. But it was a very harsh reality check courtesy of the Iceman.
Well, and I think
the rib injury was just too much.
I think the Iceman needs to send a thank you card to Max, because I'll tell you, had Max not hurt those ribs of Ziggy Haim, this could have been a whole different story here.
Paul, the Iceman is going to the finals.
People of Ryse, it is I, once again, Sterling, here to remind you that I am running for the role of permanent general manager, a role I feel I was born to play. Unfortunately, it seems I will not run for this position unopposed. There is one who seeks to challenge me, and that man's name is David Lawless. And while I welcome competition, I cannot welcome the likes of the gavel. David Lawless does not want to run Ryse. He wants to usurp Ryse. He wants to exploit Ryse. He wants to prey upon Ryse. He seeks to use the position of general manager to promote his own interests, his own agenda. He seeks to use Ryse for profit, personal gain, personal pleasure, and I will not allow that to happen. Not on my watch, not on our watch. For if you join me, if you back me, if you link arms with me, I promise you what I have promised you from the beginning: we will rise together. And we will show the likes of David Lawless that wrestling is not his personal playground. Ryse is not his personal cash cow. It is for you, it is for me, it is for them, it is for everyone. We will rise together. Thank you.
Perhaps the personification of unorthodox, the personification of eccentric, but very perhaps the next Ryse Tag Team Champions.
So basically you're saying they're both nuts.
Absolutely.
All right, glad we got that out of the way.
And these guys are ready, Paul. They know what's on the line here. Speaking of eccentric, Paul, Braddock, he might be crazy too, but he's crazy like a fox. This guy was built for combat.
Oh yeah, this guy has been trained by the best in the world, our United States military, and he might be having fun outside, but he is all business inside that ring. And he is teaming up with the Ricky Morton of Ryse Wrestling, Lewis the Nerd.
Drake Braddock and Lewis, military intelligence. Some homegrown favorites here at the Stronghold. And just like DDTrash, Lewis and Drake Braddock are looking for those belts.
Get back there, DDTrash.
Hey, nerd. Good
We're playing Shirley Doe.
System Elite did to gain those championships, basically turning their back on Ryse Wrestling.
And I thought this guy was a nerd!
Introducing first the challengers from Chillicothe, Ohio, at a combined weight of 410 and 1/4 pounds. Pure trash, Ron Mathis, Mr. DDT, Bruce Gray, DDTrash! And their opponents at a combined weight of 331 pounds, the Mathlete Lewis, the Keystone Soldier, Braddock, Military Intelligence! And introducing the champions at a combined weight of 446 pounds. They are the first ever Ryse Tag Team Champions. Big Bad Ty Cross and the new ugly Edric Everhart. System Elite.
A lot of venom being spewed the way of System Elite.
I want you guys, but I want to say one thing about you. That's why you're looking at it. You suck! You suck! You suck! You suck! You suck! You suck! We're the champions. You suck!
Y'all want to start with your ass whooped already? Huh? Champions advantage? Champions advantage? Close. Huh? We don't have champions advantage.
Drake Braddock is he's a ball of energy in there. He's bouncing all over the place.
Oh, without a doubt, this young man, he is, like I said before, he's been trained by the best in the world, our United States military. And this guy is high energy all the way. You know, like I started to say earlier, in the beginning, when System Elite turned their back on Ryse Wrestling and only concerned themselves with winning those tag team titles, and maybe wonder what was going on. But then, you know what? I thought about it, and when the wrong crowd was tag team champions, there was only one thing and one thing only on our minds, and that was keeping the belts. And now that System Elite has it, that is exactly what they want to do. Keep those belts, and they don't care if they win a match ever again, as long as they walk out with those tag team champions.
And we have Bruce Gray, Drake Braddock squaring off here to start things in this tag team championship matchup. Quite frankly, we've seen all three of these teams on a regular basis here in the Stronghold. We know what they bring to the table, and that's why this particular three-way matchup, the second three-way matchup that System Elite has been placed in, which quite frankly they deserve with the way that they've gone about their time as champions, we know these 6 athletes will bring it.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to slightly disagree, Jim. The way they've acted as champions is they've walked out with the belts every time. They've used the rules to their advantage. You don't have to necessarily win the bout to keep the titles, and that's what they've done.
Stiff kick from Drake. You make a good point, Paul, because the only thing that matters at the end of the day are results. Inside cradle.
System Elite better be careful here, because like I stated at the onset of this match, they can lose the titles here tonight without even being in the ring.
Bruce could be going for his trademark DDT. Ducks the kick. And we knew this would be very evenly matched.
Oh, yeah, and let's face it, if Drake Braddock lands that kick, it's lights out.
Wrist control here from the bullet catcher. And to your point, Paul, System Elite knows they have to be involved in the matchup to retain those titles one way or another.
Yeah, the most they could do is hope that the two teams destroy each other. But if someone catches a fall while they're standing on the outside, they're going to be on the outside looking in.
What do you mean it's Lewis? It's Lewis!
Yeah, kid, it's Lewis, and now Lewis is arm dragging you upside down.
2 feet firmly in the chest, send Everhart down to the canvas in a hurry, and all of a sudden Everhart is a little less than enthusiastic about this contest.
Yeah, he quickly made the tag and got the heck out of there.
Well, Paul, we know when it comes to being opportunistic, System Elite is next level. They will exploit any and everyone.
Yeah, Lewis, don't be celebrating too much there, bud. He's still standing up.
Lewis has to go back to the drawing board.
You can do better, Lewis. Come on. Hit harder. You got. Whoa. You got. Come on.
No, this really isn't really doing anything. I don't know what Lewis is thinking here. He's kind of wearing himself out.
Oh man, it's not working.
And I hate to say this,
well,
but
I think Lewis outthought himself.
Yeah, he was outsmarted. A little bit of nerd toss there, huh?
I wonder what grade Mathis got to in school. Out the back door, roll up.
Did they even go to school?
And man, Mathis, a real roughneck, powers Lewis down to the canvas.
System Elite now taking advantage of that, tagging themselves in.
Exactly what I told you, Paul, exploiting the opportunity as they got 2 on Lewis.
Picking their moment, waiting to come in when Lewis was down and out after the beating it took from Mathis. And now Ty Cross with that front chancery, really grinding into Lewis.
That's not going to do anything.
We know that tenacity has been Lewis's trademark his entire career.
Hey, he's the Ricky Morton of Ryse Wrestling. I've said it 1,000 times. Just when you think you got him down, he pulls out the victory.
But he got launched on that snap suplex. Hooks the leg, finds 2, and I believe that's why System Elite are as polished as they are, Paul, because something as simple as a suplex is done to the letter.
Exactly.
Textbook.
They do the little things well, and that's why they're champs right now.
Come on, ref. You get him in this corner.
As System Elite here has Lewis stranded in their corner. And they're not going to rush anything, Paul. They're going to meticulously take their time. System Elite, don't get me wrong, we have a ton of
5 minutes gone by.
entertaining athletes, thrilling matches, tremendous ability inside the ring ropes. System Elite, as you said, doesn't care about any of that. Nothing flashy, just results.
And they're just dissecting Lewis right now. And Mathis is trying to get this crowd behind Lewis right now. Because again, he knows they can't win this match if they can't get in there to get a pin.
Standing switch from Everhart, who drops Lewis right on the back of his shoulders there. Ron Mathis is
He's
such
about to, yeah, he's beside himself right now.
He's such a well-adjusted
He's
individual.
gonna have an aneurysm.
Such a well-adjusted individual.
Is it true? I heard they had to tie a pork chop around his neck when he was a kid to get the dog to play with him.
Mathis, a former Combat Zone heavyweight champion, frequently competed with glass, barbed wire, light tubes. So Mathis is
he's a little out there to say
a
the
little
least.
eccentric to say the least, as you said. And again, we're seeing System Elite pick apart the opposition. Page by page of the playbook being followed by System Elite as Lewis forced to get his shoulders off the canvas yet again. And just like everything else, System Elite exploiting the emotions of Mathis.
Taking full advantage of this right now. Drake Braddock trying to get in there and help his partner Lewis out. Referee has lost all control of this match at this point.
You can't blame George Ross.
No, he can't.
6 guys.
Sometimes you think they should have 2 referees out here for a match like this.
And frequent tags from System Elite.
Man, these
Tag
guys,
Team Wrestling 101.
These guys are specialists. This is what they do, and they do it better than anyone else right now in Ryse Wrestling.
And you want to talk about specialists? I'll ask you, Paul. You and Brian Anthony were the wrong crowd for several years. Won more tag team championships than we have time to name in this broadcast. How do you approach a 3-way tag team matchup?
Well, pretty much the way System Elite is doing it right now. They waited, they picked their spot. Once Lewis was down, they strategically reached over and tagged themselves in, and now they are just taking Lewis apart.
Too much bragging on that middle rope. As good and as simpatico as System Elite is, you cannot showboat it in Ryse Wrestling.
Absolutely
You just can't do
not.
it.
That would definitely.
I don't care who you are. The caliber of athletes are too high.
But there you see that
Braddock
strategy.
got posted. Drake hit the post and is now laying on the floor.
Yeah, Ty Cross coming around, sneaking around that outside, pulling Drake Braddock down before Lewis could get there to make the tag.
We had a tag in here. Here comes Bruce Gray.
And Bruce Gray is now the proverbial house of fire.
Bruce is actually the freshest guy in this matchup.
Now we're about to have a meeting of the minds of System Elite, courtesy of Bruce Gray.
Drake slips out. Oh,
he caught him that time
high
with that kick.
right in the back of the head. And I believe Bruce Gray,
he's out, launching Drake Braddock into Ty Cross.
Bruce is holding his ear. His equilibrium may be off. Ron Mathis may be on his own here as he's using Drake as a long dart.
He's hitting anything that moves.
And what tandem offense from DDTrash.
What do we got here? What are they setting him up for here?
Look out.
Bruce Gray going for the superplex. But Mathis is on the turnbuckle as well. He's gonna fly.
Drops the bow.
This could be it.
New champs, Paul. New champs.
And just like that, Ty Cross in at the last second. Ty Cross launching himself in there to make that save at the last possible second.
Nobody else but me is the man around here. That is why
And this thing has gotten wild very quickly. Soul butt from Drake Braddock. Series of thrust kicks from the martial arts expert.
Code breaker. I don't think he got it all, though.
And again, we could be seeing new champs before our eyes here. Wait a minute, Mathis, I believe,
he yanked the ref right out of the ring.
Took George out of the ring.
Yeah. Hey, they can't win the match if they're not making the pin. Mathis actually extending this match. I think it would have been over at that point.
Well, George needs to assert some authority here because we have 4 guys in the ring.
We have a huge disagreement now going on between military intelligence and DDTrash.
Well, this is completely broken. Hey, Paul, who's illegal?
I have no idea, but this whole thing is going to definitely work in System Elite's favor. That's if they're alive on the outside of the ring. I haven't seen them. Well, I can see Ty Cross kind of moving down there. I have no idea what happened to Edric Everhart.
The challengers are fighting it out here. System Elite, the champions, are on the floor. You want to talk about how competitive this tag team division is? Here's your example right here. 6 guys in the ring and nobody's standing yet. Bruce Gray's going to be the first one back up.
Solid right jabs.
I don't know if you want to exchange shots with the mixed martial arts expert.
Absolutely not. This man is well versed in hand-to-hand combat, that is for sure. But he got caught.
Tandem offense here, TKO. Bruce with a kick of his own.
Yeah, Drake Braddock may be completely out of it right now.
Spiking
pile driver. Jumping spike pile driver.
Well said, because...
And Lewis may have just barely saved the day for his team with that.
This is tag team wrestling, Paul.
I'll tell you, this makes me want to get back in the ring. Well, not really.
Numbers game catching up to Lewis here. Miscue from DDTrash.
Like that. Mathis takes out Gray as Lewis ducks under that clothesline.
Bruce caught that clothesline right in the face.
Lewis gonna fly. Caught him with that code breaker. He got all of it that time.
And wait a minute, here's System Elite. Roll up. Are you kidding me? They stole it.
Just like that. System Elite taking advantage of the situation.
And still, your Ryse Tag Team Champions, the new ugly Edric Everhart and Big Bad Ty Cross, System Elite.
Once again, Jim, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to System Elite is they walk out with the titles, and they're going to do it once again.
Ty Cross and Edric Everhart should be charged with grand theft because they stole this one.
Hold on, look behind you guys.
So many snacks. So many snacks. So much to choose from. System Elite, you're probably wondering, why all the snacks? Why are we in a car? Where are we going? Well, the answer to that is simple. All over the place. We're everywhere. We always are. Team E, that's kind of what we do. We travel. People want us. They love us. Crazy. So, and I know you guys sitting there at Ryse Wrestling, right? And you're winning some matches. We've been paying attention. And I know you guys are like, when are these guys, when are TME gonna come home and face us finally for these belts? And we've been busy, man. We've been in Canada, Indiana, North Carolina, Florida, Ohio. We've been all over the place, right? And that's because people want to see us.
Yeah.
People want TME. We're high demand.
But you know who people don't want to see or seem to even care about at all? System Elite. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, you guys are the Ryse Tag Team Champions. You seem like you'd be, I don't know, more in demand than you are, but people don't want you. They want us. That's because we're the best. We're going to prove that.
And sooner or later, we'll come get that one thing.
That one thing? What is that? What is that thing?
That gold trophy around your waist.
That's right.
That's what we want. So Ty, Edric, System Elite,
welcome to the main event. You gave me those Doritos?
I didn't get any Doritos.
I thought we were getting these, the candy and the Doritos.
I just heard get the candy and some snacks. I didn't hear the Dorito part.
Come on, Cool Ranch Doritos.
I didn't hear that. You said Cool Ranch?
Paul, it was System Elite that used those chairs to take out the main event when they won those championships. And it looks like that's a warning shot from Gannon and Duke. They may be coming to eat System Elite's lunch.
I will say
and take those titles.
Hey, you shut both of your mouths!
Hey. You better worry about them. Don't worry about me, kid. I'm retired.
Well, clearly they're a little upset, aren't they?
It sounds like it.
Introducing first, accompanied by the Black Rose, Meyers, hailing from 42nd Street and weighing in tonight at 266 pounds, Shirley Doe!
As we are back here for the second half of Ryse Pro Wrestling, August 12th of 2019. My name is Jim Amata, being joined by the legendary Paul Atlas. We are seeing quite possibly the sickest man to ever step foot in a Pittsburgh ring. Shirley Doe is a Pittsburgh legend. However, he is absolutely soulless. He wants to take away Lee Moriarty's potential. He wants to put out the apex of combat before the apex of combat becomes an international commodity. Quite frankly, Shirley Doe lives to ruin dreams.
I hate every single one of you stupid people. I hate being here. I hate the way the air smells here. I hate her stupid shirt. I hate his or her stupid hair. I hate Sword and his stupid camera. And I hate every wrestler in the locker room with every single bit of my heart. Shut up! Nobody cares about a single thing you'll ever say in your entire life. You're gonna die in a pauper's grave that nobody visits, while I will become a wrestling legend. Now, if you'll all kindly shut the F up. I would like you guys to recognize the purity and beauty and grace of Megan Meyers. A perfect flower of innocence. Please show her some respect.
Yeah, she's innocent. Innocent as a newborn baby. A baby rat.
Exactly the kind of stupidity I have come to expect from the Ryse crowd. But let me show you people something. This is what happened to my eye because of Ryse. This is what happened to my eye because of Christy K. So if you guys think this is over, this isn't over by a long shot. But tonight, you stupid,
stupid people are here for history. Because tonight is Stomp Out Lee Moriarty Night, a special charity show to celebrate Lee Moriarty's last match. Never! When are you gonna die from diabetes, you stupid prick? I'm gonna cut your legs off and kick you in the face in the middle of the street and watch you bleed out in Connellsville. I'll eat pizza from Bud Murphy's while you die. Now while I'm getting back to the point, tonight is Lee Moriarty's last match. So when you get out that lobby, please give nicely to his family, because he's not going to be able to walk, talk, or even chew gum when I'm done wrestling him. Lee Moriarty comes in this ring and he smiles and
Lee
he laughs,
certainly is.
and he does all this silly stuff.
Lee is in
He's
the
not gonna
ring.
be smiling tonight. You're not going to be smiling, Mr. Yacht Shirt. You're not going to be smiling. Grunge is dead. Take off that flannel and go back to Seattle. Hey, referee, I'm talking. Referee, important people are talking. As I was saying, Lee Moriarty is finished. Tonight is the night. I am talking. Important people are talking. Referee.
You might want to turn around, though.
We're done with you.
And finally, Lee Moriarty quite literally shuts Doe the hell up. Doe spewing that hatred all over the stronghold. The Black Dragon has had enough. And let's not forget, after the last event, the last time we were in this building, Shirley Doe blindsided Lee Moriarty backstage, completely took Moriarty out of his game, choked him out, and left him unconscious in the locker room of the stronghold. But Doe may regret that.
Doe's a madman, but I have a feeling he may have woken up a dark side of Lee Moriarty that he may not want to have done.
Well, Lee Moriarty, we know how technically smooth, how technically proficient Moriarty is, but he's going to have to go to a deeper, more sadistic level against Doe. And you have to think that the Black Rose at ringside would not bode well for Moriarty.
Yeah, he's going to have eyes in the back of his head as long as that young lady's out there. And with an assist by the guy in the front row, Lee Moriarty driving Doe's head into his shoe.
Doe into the wall, and again, this isn't what we normally see out of Moriarty. Smooth technique is his wheelhouse, but you can't do that against Doe.
He's throwing it all out the window here right now because he knows Shirley Doe is definitely not going to trade headlocks and wristlocks with him.
And let's not forget, Paul, that hellacious Ryse versus Grindhouse war. Moriarty and Doe were both in that matchup.
And another assist by this young lady over here to the side propels Lee Moriarty into Shirley Doe.
The Ryse faithful are assisting the apex of combat.
Hey, you gotta throw everything when it comes to the Grindhouse. Use whatever weapons or means or people you can.
And as much as we may be having some fun with the Ryse crowd, he has to remember that Doe's objective isn't necessarily to win a matchup, it's to end Lee's career, to stop Lee from achieving those international milestones that he is destined to achieve.
Oh yeah, the one thing of Shirley Doe for most of the past year has been is to ruin everything in Ryse wrestling.
Paul, I'm going to go on record and say it. It's a bold claim, but I truly believe it. I believe that Moriarty will be an international superstar.
Well, I've said it from day one, the first time I saw this kid in the ring, that he is money. But right now, all that is on the line as he faces Shirley Doe. Because Shirley Doe don't care about rising the ranks. What he wants to do is he wants to end people's careers. Not just that, end people's lives.
And speaking of international travels, we know that Doe made an impact in Japan. And Meg Meyers getting her cheap shots in when she can.
I can cheat as much as I want, that's my whole deal.
In many ways, Doe is the American Mr. Torture because everything he does is just nasty.
Shirley Doe has one agenda every time he steps in that ring, and that's to inflict as much pain as he can on his opponent.
Yeah, how's this old man doing?
Moriarty. Doe may have woken up the dragon. But you have to think if Moriarty gets over-aggressive, Doe's going to take advantage as he just took Moriarty's head off with that short clothesline.
Hey, what are you, 40 or 48? School. I'm 47, you fat bastard.
You know, I have to say it, Jim. I have been all around this country, and I have seen some of the top wrestlers and some of the top promotions around. And I have to tell you, I have never seen an individual like Shirley Doe who has not just so much disdain for his fellow competitors, but for humanity in general.
First by Doe. Big knockdown center ring. Perfect placement from Doe, who's going to wrench and twist on the neck. And this is that vile, nasty side I was talking about. Doe has a PhD in punishment that he's earned over the past near quarter century in the wrestling business. Doe knows how to hurt you.
5 minutes.
You can do better than that. Come on, get your fat hair up.
And as much as Doe loves to antagonize this audience, he may have inadvertently left an opening for the apex of combat.
Look at the agility of Lee Moriarty as he was able to kick Doe in the back of the head from a flat position on the canvas.
Moriarty boxing Doe with those forearms, and just one shot from the Madman puts Moriarty down to the canvas again. Kawada kicks to the eye. That's nasty. And you can hear that dull, sickening thud on impact there.
I'm out of the corner. Come on, Doe.
It's not just how Doe hits you, it's where Doe hits you.
Everything is cold and calculating with Shirley Doe. He knows exactly what he's doing. Like I said, to inflict the absolute most punishment.
Come on, Moriarty. What do you say? You want to get him?
Oh, God. Crossface hit him in the top of the forehead. That's a good way to compress your vertebrae, Paul. And make no mistake about it, that's no coincidence.
Doe does nothing by accident, believe that.
There's Moriarty ricocheting off the canvas again. That jarring effect on the body. Moriarty ducks. Shotgun dropkick, act of desperation. And Moriarty may be finding a second gear here.
Yeah,
Double knees to follow up. Moriarty is going to have to try to match the aggression of Doe. But you can see Moriarty has sustained punishment, clutching his neck here.
Yeah, Lee has just hit a different level here.
Diving European uppercut in the corner.
I'll tell you what, nobody hits you harder with a European uppercut than Lee Moriarty, in my opinion.
Cover here. Doe gets the left shoulder up, and did you notice Moriarty took Doe away from the ropes in that exchange?
Ring positioning, even for a young man who's not, Lee has not been in this business a very long time, but he has learned all of that. Ring generalship, positioning, that's why I've said from day one, this kid is money.
Listen to the thud on those kicks, Paul. And a discus lariat took Moriarty out of his shoes.
You know, this is one thing Lee Moriarty has to be
Ripcord. For. Moriarty puts on the brakes, latches onto the arm. Could be going for that Fujiwara, could be trying to hyperextend the arm.
He's trying to, but you have to understand here, each and every ounce of pain seems to fuel Shirley Doe.
All right, it's on the ropes, Lee.
Lee, come on, he's on the rope.
Doe found his way to the rope.
True ring general. Doe knew where he was at all times there.
And I'll tell you what, if I was Lee Moriarty, I probably wouldn't have broke that hold. Had that been Doe, he certainly would not have.
Well, Moriarty knows that Doe is trying to injure him. So Moriarty has to be willing to go to that place.
There he is, sinking that arm bar in again.
And what a bridge for added torque.
Yeah, wrenching the arm of Shirley Doe. Shirley Doe trying to get a reversal there.
Come on, Doe, after biting, he's on the rope.
I couldn't tell, Paul. Was he biting the hand,
That's
bending
what it
the
sounds
hand?
like referee Josh said. You can't bite the man. Doe's going to get out any way he can. He doesn't care.
And listen, Paul, just Doe misses with the magic bullet, bicycle knee.
Yeah, but look at that. Lee could not capitalize on that as fast as he normally would have. He has taken a lot of punishment, and that has slowed his game down.
And look at the impact. Doe avoids the contact. Silly head DDT. That's it, Paul.
He planted him perfectly. What's Doe doing now? He's measuring Moriarty.
He could have gone for the cover. This is proof, Paul.
Yeah, Doe just doesn't want
Winning
to
the
win this
matchup
match.
is secondary. Doe doesn't care.
No, he wants to hurt him.
He wants to put Lee on the shelf.
He's measuring him now. He's got that choke locked in.
Almost a version of the Cobra clutch.
He's got it locked. Well, Lee was able to get out.
Trying to go back to that arm. And a fish hooking the eyes. Moriarty
walk that in
can see,
again.
and very shortly he's not going to be able to breathe.
Hold on.
Elevates himself. Who got it?
Who got it?
The winner of this match as a result of a pinfall, Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty.
Wait a minute, Paul. We got the pinfall, but Doe has that choke sunk in.
He is not letting go. We got security coming down here to try to get Doe off of Lee Moriarty. He's got it sunk in now.
Moriarty can't breathe. Moriarty's unconscious.
Megan Rose trying to go after security. Come on, get this guy off of him. And look, wait a minute. It's Derek Direction. What is that clown doing here?
Now wait a minute, Direction is taking out security, but Moriarty is still being asphyxiated in the center of the ring.
We gotta get some order down here. He's gonna end both of them stomping and ripping away at Lee Moriarty.
And that is our security, so who the hell's gonna stop the grindhouse?
Oh, that's who's gonna stop him. Here comes the boss himself, Brandon Kay.
And these two are scheduled for a matchup.
Let's take out the trash.
Derek Direction and Brandon Kay, the matchup. But this is completely broken down, Paul. This isn't about competition. Will the ghost of the grindhouse ever be exorcised from the stronghold?
The way it looks right now, it's not going to be. There's Derek Direction and oh, look out! Lee back to his feet. Brandon back to his feet. And they're just hammering away on Derek and Doe.
This is completely broken down. And this war may never be over.
Look out! Double dive, taking out Doe, taking out Direction on the floor. Doe trying to make his way up, and here comes Lee Moriarty. Hey, you brought this on yourself, dude. You wanted to fight him. You got to fight. They're off to the back. Meanwhile, down in the ring, Brandon Kay's got a chair going after Derek Direction. They're rearranging furniture back there and everything else.
And now we have a belt.
Brandon Kay.
I'm trying to keep up with all this. We have a belt.
I think Brandon just made the match. Himself and Derek Direction. We've got a ref in the ring. We've got Derek in the ring. We've got Kay in the ring. Here we go.
So much action to keep up with. We're dodging bodies out here as the bell rings for an official matchup. Derek Direction, Brandon Kay. Brandon K,
Brandon's
the
going to fly
founder of
here.
Ryse, protecting his home turf. Launches himself to Derek direction.
I think Brandon's finally come to the he realizes that these guys are never going away.
Brandon K is a 20-year pro, and the argument can be made he is as good now as he's ever been.
Oh, without a doubt. I was there at the beginning of his career. I trained this man, and I can tell you right now, K is at the top of his game right now. I don't care what anybody says.
And aside from that, as much as I hate to say it, because he's an insufferable jerk, but Derek Direction is one of the top athletes on the independent scene today.
Oh, you can't take that away from him, but it's the attitude of himself and the rest of the grindhouse.
And strategic maneuvers like that, taking out the knee, is why Derek Direction is top tier. And Derek Direction comes with a pedigree. An influence from Chris Hero, a.k.a. Cassius Ohno. That's how you see all those elbows that Derek interjects in his offense.
Now wrenching on the knee of Brandon.
Direction also spent some time learning from NXT UK star Pete Dunne as well. So the pedigree for Derek Direction is there, and it shows through.
He's definitely a well-versed athlete, a well-trained athlete, but it's that attitude, it's that arrogance.
He's an egomaniac.
Without a doubt. This guy goes to a funeral and he's pissed off he's not the corpse.
I've never taken anything away from Direction's athletic ability or his skill inside the ring. But this is not a no disqualification matchup.
Well, I don't know what it is. Kay made the match. Maybe he did make it no disqualification.
And the arrogance from Direction just oozing off of him. Only 3 men have held the Grand Championship in the history of Ryse, Paul. And Derek Direction is one of them. That puts him in some good company alongside Moriarty and Matt Conard.
He is a top athlete. I've said that before, and I'll say it again.
And that chair coming back to bite Direction, so to speak.
Right in the derriere.
And what a right hand from Direction. Again, that striking influence on display here.
Well, wait a minute now. That's Christy K. That's Brandon's wife that Direction is now pointing at.
And you want to know how demented Derek Direction was? That video that he sent in that we played here last month, he threatened to stalk Brandon's wife, Christy.
That he did. You know,
there's no low he won't sink to.
I said it before and I say it again. There are lines you don't cross, and you don't put your hand on another man's wife, and that is exactly what the Grindhouse has done before.
You suck too. I thought you died of diabetes, you old piece of trash.
And Direction continuing to make friends.
Oh, everywhere he goes.
Elevated elbow from Direction, driving all the air out of the founder of Ryse, Brandon K.
Camera 1, let's go.
Point of the elbow directly into the heart.
And it's how nice he's able to give camera directions to Sorg while he's beating Brandon K up.
Camera 3, I'm going to take this elbow pad off. I'm going to stop his heart, and you're going to have to call 911.
And Direction talked himself just a little bit too much.
Yeah, you do not let Brandon K get himself back together again, and that's exactly what Derek Direction did. He left an opening for K to roll out of the way.
And Direction is just a vile, vile individual.
First class Brandon K. So I think of this shit.
He's mocking a legend, Paul. But he can get it done inside the ring ropes, which is what makes him so damn annoying.
For all the bravado, for all the boasting, he without a doubt is a top competitor.
And this is what I'm talking about, a reverse Texas cloverleaf as he is compressing the spine, the knees.
And Brandon has had back injuries before, so Derek Direction, believe it or not, this is sound strategy by Direction.
And Brandon also broke an ankle once in a matchup. And you have to feel for Christy K having to watch this stuff at ringside.
Brandon able to twist out of it. Can he gather himself, though, and continue this match? Both men now down on the canvas, struggling to get up.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that Megan Meyers is still out here. And we talked about the striking, and we're seeing it here. Mucha pass. Ruiz German puts Direction right on the back of his head.
Look out, the boss is fighting back strong.
Diving knee strike, Moriarty. Direction on the canvas. Lee Moriarty fighting with Doe out here. Derek gets the shoulder, but I meant to say there, Paul, is thank God Moriarty took Doe out of here, because you know that if Direction was in any real jeopardy here, somebody from the Grindhouse would interject themselves in this matchup.
I'm actually surprised that Megan Meyers was able to keep her composure and stay outside the ring while that went on.
Brandon fighting on one leg here. He's favoring that knee.
Direction caught him right in the midsection with that knee.
And Direction, such an drops the leg, nicely done. Springboard across the back of the neck.
He's got him hooked here.
Brandon gets the shoulder up, but he may be on borrowed time. Direction is, despite being still in his younger years, is a real ring general because he generates offense based on the positioning inside the ring. He's never flustered. He always has a game plan.
And he knows where he's at all times in that ring, where he's at, how close to the ropes.
Try pinning him again.
And where the hell is he going? Because again, he always has a plan.
He's going for another chair here. Grabbing two now and setting him up in the ring. What is he? He's moving furniture around here. I didn't know. What is this, Derek Direction moving service?
Well, as I said, he always has a plan because it's convenient that just the number of chairs he was looking for are out here. That's no coincidence, believe me. Direction knows what he's doing.
Oh, much like Shirley Doe, he does nothing by accident.
Come on, Brandon!
And this is getting dangerous here, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know. Derek may be taking a little too long here now. Brandon's starting to get up. Oh, this is high risk. Yeah, this is not going to end well for somebody here.
Look out. Oh, no. Brandon puts on the brakes. This is dangerous here.
He's trying to go for that pile driver. Remember, at the end of that match, the end of that Grindhouse Rise war that we had here a few months ago, Derek Direction pile drove Brandon K after the fact.
Well, Direction was clearly trying to put the Pittsburgh legend out of this sport because whatever Direction had in mind with those chairs.
Oh, I know exactly what he had in mind. He was trying to pile drive Brandon on top of those chairs. K going up top now.
Your point, Paul, you mentioned it. Meg Meyers.
Yeah, she's using herself as a human shield to try to save Derek Direction.
Almost on cue, Meg Meyers knew when Direction was in trouble. And in comes Christy K.
Look out.
Christy's going after Megan.
Come on, Christy, kick her ass.
Christy K has had enough.
Megan, get over here. Megan, over here.
Well, this is an official matchup, so
yeah, I mean, it's not a tag match. But Christy K had enough.
The referee was trying to get some control of this thing.
And now Direction and Megan Meyers seem to be taking a hike here.
What's Direction's problem? He's taking a hike. Oh wait, and Brandon's pursuing.
Brandon's not going to let that happen. Derek Direction trying to take the high road.
Fight, Paul.
Look out, they're going out into the lobby now. I don't know what's going on.
I guess our camera's going to follow them. I'm going to watch my back because I don't know where we're coming.
Piece of shit out. Let's go.
Wait a minute now. It sounds like the referee said that he just locked Brandon K out of the stronghold.
Oh, we can't.
Come on. And now he's forcing the referee to make the 10 count.
Do Where did he get that? Somebody, where is Brandon?
What is going on?
Like that.
I heard the referee saying something. Whoa, there! Brandon K found an open door, I guess, because here he comes.
Brandon, he had to go around the front door, I assume. I don't know.
I don't know, but he made his way back here into the arena.
Brandon walking on one leg. He can barely stand. He's back here in a fight.
They're trying to set him up here now. K going for the K driver. He got it. This got to be it.
Direction kicks out.
How in the world did that happen?
This is a personal fight, Paul. This is a bitter rivalry.
Yes!
Brandon K wants to tear Direction to bits.
He made the announcement before that he didn't want to make things personal anymore. But the Grindhouse and Derek Direction are not going to continue. They're just going to keep making this personal.
Shoulders down. Direction so well versed in so many different styles of professional wrestling. And again, going for that submission.
He's trying to lock in that reverse cloverleaf once again.
Wrenching on the back, the knees, the ankles.
No, we stayed in it!
Direction would like nothing more than to make the owner of Ryse Wrestling tap out here tonight.
The spine is not meant to bend that way.
Now he's just kicking him between the shoulder blades.
And he's stomping on the back of his head, Paul.
Wait a minute. Christy K is back at ringside. She said something to the referee, and now the referee's ring the bell.
Oh, that's going to cost you some money, pal. Direction clocks Nick Davidson. Referee stoppage. And Brandon can't defend himself. He's unconscious.
What the heck is this?
What is going on here?
We need help out here for Nick Davidson.
We need help out here for Brandon K.
Paul, we need medical attention out here for Brandon.
We need armed guards out here is what we need.
Jim Sterling, Starman, oversized baked potato, whatever you want to be called, it sounds to me like you're asking to have a more permanent role in Ryse as general manager. But the only role you should really be playing, Jim, is the one in those games that you talk about on the internet so much. You see, you like to say that the Gavel David Lawless isn't qualified to run Ryse because I'm a lawyer, because I want to profit from this. But that could be further from the truth. Lest I remind you, Mr. Sterling, that lawyers are the foundation of this country. That without lawyers, nothing would be accomplished and progress would not be achieved. Now, I get that you're different, and I get that different is cool, and that everyone wants to support something that goes against the grain, but at least I remind people, change for the sake of change can be dangerous. Sometimes it can be deadly. And the Gavel David Lawless is going to come into Ryse. He's going to show you what a lawyer can do when a lawyer has the proper tools to be in charge. And yeah, the Gavel might come out on top, but that's not because the Gavel's going to exploit his power as general manager. That's because the Gavel's the greatest attorney and professional wrestler in the world. But you already knew that, Mr. Sterling. So continue to proselytize on the internet, continue to shoot your videos, and maybe even show up at Ryse with your stupid Starman costume. But at the end of the day, and by the end of the year, I assure you that the Gavel David Lawless, the most flawless attorney in the world, will be the Ryse general manager. You're welcome, morons.
like he's raided Megan Meyers' closet.
He has no peers and no fears. No one is quite as demented as Noir.
And introducing his opponent. Standing at 6 feet, 9 inches tall, weighing in at 258 pounds, from the concrete jungle of New York City, he is larger than life, Mr. Fresh and Pretty Boy Smooth.
If you built a professional wrestler from the ground up, you have PB Smooth. Size, speed, agility, power. No flaws in the game for PB Smooth.
This is without a doubt the most agile big man in the game today, PB Smooth. But he's going up against the macabre Christian Noir.
And despite Noir's master degree in psychological warfare, I don't think that Pretty Boy Smooth will be phased by those antics.
Absolutely not.
Interesting to note, Paul,
Just like you,
that the main event, the feature presentation of the anniversary show last year was Noir versus Conard in that dreaded casket match. Noir could be destined for a rematch 1 year in the making.
And that is exactly what he is after here tonight. He's got it, but to get there, he's got to get past PB Smooth.
And conversely, PB Smooth, you and I both know, the only loss that PB has had inside the stronghold thus far was against Matt Conard, ironically, but it was System Elite that made that defeat possible. So PB Smooth could be coming back for some revenge himself and take that championship with him.
And just look at it. Look at the way he just manhandles Christian Noir.
The size of PB Smooth, no matter how many times we see him here inside the stronghold, is just awe-inspiring.
Yeah, let's face it, Christian Noir is not exactly a small man either.
And look at the agility. From the concrete jungle to the squared circle, PB Smooth is as good as advertised.
I said it before, he is the most agile big man in the game today.
And this thing is going to spill outside the ring here. And that'll suit Noir just fine.
Oh, he don't care. He'll fight you in the ring, out of the ring, in the locker room, in the parking lot. He don't care.
And no matter how big you are, as I've said in the past, that lumbar region is susceptible to damage.
PB Smooth fighting back though.
And PB is a wise pro, not just with those physical attributes, but with his mind as well, because he knew to win this matchup, he had to get Noir in the ring, but that allows Noir to exploit the advantage. Caught PB coming in, and again, going to zero in on that back. Noir is a shark. He is a real predator inside those ring ropes.
Oh, without a doubt. Let's not forget, as dangerous as Noir is on his own, he has been studying under the learning tree, if you will, of Shirley Doe for well over the past year now, which that makes him even more deadly.
Noir hurling his body at PB Smooth, and PB froze up. He may be hurt, injured. In an injury here, Paul, if we can, we need to reiterate this. In this tournament format, where it's not a one-night tournament.
No.
It's next month will be the finals. that will determine the championship matchup in December at the 3rd anniversary show. So you have time to prepare for your opponent, but you better be in tip-top shape each time. There are no fluke wins in this type of format.
Sure, and like we touched on last month during the first round, these men are all active competitors all over the country. This is not the only place they work. So you can get injured not only here, but you can get injured somewhere else on a different event. And that is going to highly impact your ability to move on in this tournament.
And we saw that come into play earlier tonight. Ziggy Haim got hurt in that matchup against Max at Uprise, and that could have arguably been the point that derailed her in this tournament.
Oh, I'm going to say it had derailed her, because had she not had that injury, that could have been a completely different match.
So we're going to find out here, Paul, just who's going to advance to face Tony Johnson in the finals of this tournament November 9th.
It will be one of these two men for sure, but who will it be? Will it be PB Smooth or will it be Christian Noir? Right now, advantage Noir.
And we want to talk about high-level competition here at Ryse. Think about this. We're going to see either Tony Johnson against Noir or Tony Johnson against PB Smooth November 9th.
And that is a main event in any building in this country.
And here we're seeing the unorthodox nature of Noir as he's trying to asphyxiate PB Smooth.
Come on, off the choke.
Noir is just unbalanced, man.
And much like his running buddies, Derek Direction and Shirley Doe, this man would do anything to gain a victory. He doesn't care what it is.
Freud would have a field day with Noir.
Oh, without a doubt. By the end of that conversation, I think Freud would be on the couch.
And again, no matter how big you are, if you can't breathe, you can't fight.
Yeah, you know what? He's on his back right now, and that size advantage is definitely taken away.
And this is another way, to neutralize that size advantage is Noir with a gator roll, keeping PB Smooth on the canvas.
That referee needs to get in there and make sure that doesn't slip into a choke, because it can very easily.
And you can see the physical strain in the body of PB Smooth as he's trying to breathe here. Trying to get oxygen to fuel those muscles.
Noir using his head as a weapon.
He's a real kamikaze, Paul.
He's not afraid to use any part of his body as a weapon, that is for sure.
And you can hear PB Smooth screaming in agony.
Locking in that camel clutch now, placing a huge amount of torque on the back of PB Smooth, which has already absorbed a lot of punishment in this match already.
And how embarrassing would it be for PB Smooth, quite possibly the odds-on favorite in this tournament, to have to tap out, to have to submit his chance to rise as the contender for the championship.
I'll tell you what, in the small amount of time that he has been here in Ryse Wrestling, I can guarantee you that I don't think that's going to happen. PB Smooth is not going to give up to any man.
PB back up to a vertical base. But Paul, you want to talk about how dangerous Noir is? How often have we seen PB in this type of jeopardy? He's wrestling with a sense of desperation. There's very few that could do that. Noir counters out, but gets dropped on the back of his head.
And you know, that something as simple and as basic as a back suplex being delivered by a man the size of PB Smooth. He just fell from like 8-9 feet in the air.
And again, I'm going to say it, there are very few athletes in independent wrestling today that could put this kind of hurt on PB Smooth.
Smooth trying to dig down deep now.
Noir runs into a back elbow, his head bouncing around like a ping pong ball.
Running into that big size 15 shoe.
And the big man is a runaway freight train. Crashing down to the canvas.
Unbelievable.
You got to give Noir credit. He is sick, he is soulless, but he is an absolute in-ring general.
I cannot believe that he was able to kick out of that pit attempt. PB hooking him up here. Oh, but he could not get him up because of that back.
Christian. You say PB.
And what a right hand knockout shot.
Without a doubt, he just completely knocked him stiff and straight to the canvas.
Noir had his lights
This has to
turned
be
out.
it.
And Paul, I believe it may have been George Ross's count that quote unquote woke up Noir.
I'm telling you, it's amazing that he kicked out after that. I thought he was out cold.
Marry your fist with his face again. Beat him the whole way across the ring. Yeah.
Paul, I'm wondering, with that back, if PB Smooth does in fact advance here, would that potential back injury derail him in the final?
It can. We've talked about that several times throughout the night. Again, he cannot pick up Christian Noir.
Swing and a miss by PB. Back elbow staggers Noir. Unbelievable strength.
Got him in almost a modified version of a Samoan drop. Now Christian Noir going for the cover here. 1, 2. Just that close.
The competition of this tournament has been intense, to say the least.
Are you not surprised? The shot at the Ryse Grand Championship is on the line here. You knew these men and women were going to leave it all on the line.
There is certainly top quality all up and down the roster, but we're seeing the cream of the crop here. PB shoves off Noir.
Try that one again. It'll work.
Could be time to call the coroner. PB dodges the mist, was one step ahead, and made Noir pay.
With it.
Call the coroner. PB is going to the finals.
This match as a result of a pinfall. Larger than life, Mr. Fresh to Death, Pretty Boy Smooth.
PB Smooth advancing to the finals. He will face Tony Johnson back here in November at the Stronghold, and the winner of that match will go on to face Matt Conard or whoever the Ryse Grand Champion is at that time on our anniversary show.
Paul, I'm going to say it right now. It may be a bold prediction, but it ain't that bold. I'm going to say it November 9th, the Iceman versus PB Smooth. That's a potential classic right there.
Again, a main event anywhere around the country today will be that match, and that's just for a shot to get into the main event on the anniversary show.
Hell of a victory for PB Smooth.
Hey, dude, you lost. Hey, Steve, you lost. Wake up.
Persecuting our Christian members now.
Whatever people have been asking for, we'll give it to them. We'll give it to them.
of the hottest prospects. Tre LaMar, a standout in Absolute Intense Wrestling in Cleveland, looks to make his name here in Pittsburgh, and there is no bigger stage to do it than the feature presentation.
Much like his rowing buddies, like you said, System Elite, the only thing on Matt Connor's mind, win, lose, or draw, walk out with that championship around his waist.
Here we are, Paul. Feature presentation for Ryse Pro Wrestling. October 12th of 2019. IndyWrestling.us and the Indie Wrestling Network bring to you Tre LaMar, Matt Conard, non-title.
Not on the line. Not on the line. That's right, it's not on the line. You don't deserve it.
Paul, despite being a non-title matchup, I still think the stakes of this matchup are almost just as big.
Oh, without a doubt. If Tre LaMar can garner a victory here over Matt Conard, he would definitely be in line for a shot at that grand championship.
And let's not mislead anybody here. The only reason that this matchup is a non-title matchup is to protect the integrity of the Ryse and Contender tournament.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. The whole reason the title's not on the line tonight is because you haven't done anything to deserve a title shot.
It's because you're a coward!
You got all the ability in the world, but what does that really matter coming down to wins and losses?
All right.
You want to know why there's not a title on the line tonight?
Because you're
not on my level to deserve a title shot. That's why the title's not on the line.
I'm going to disagree with that.
Alright. You're right, I do have a couple of losses here, but neither one of them are from you. You speak that I'm not on your level. Why don't you show me that? You're so confident, put the bet on the line.
And LaMar may talk himself into a title shot, Paul.
He's pleading his case, that's for sure.
He's pulling Conard's punk card. How confident is the grand champion?
This crowd seems to want to see it.
Could we have an impromptu championship matchup? That's why you got to be here live, Paul.
That's right. You never know what you're going to miss.
Check it. Check it. Check it. Check it. Check it.
Well, I think our crowd is telling Matt Conard no uncertain terms what they want to see.
All right. You got it.
Connor's agreed to it. We have a title match.
Paul, I got to be honest.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is now for the Ryse Grand Championship.
I said the stakes were almost as big. Well, damn it, they are
now.
big because we have the Grand Championship on the line. Matt Conard defending against Tre LaMar, impromptu championship matchup. My name's Jim Amato, joined by Pittsburgh legend Paul Atlas.
And I got to give it to Tre LaMar. He was able to plead his case, and he talked back Conard into putting that belt on the line.
Collar and elbow tie up here to get us started. Waist lock from LaMar.
Oh, damn it.
Conard looks for a way to extricate himself here. Grabs wrist control, and immediately the complexion of this matchup changed.
You want a title shot? Here it is.
LaMar rolls through. So smooth inside the ring ropes. Grabs the wrist of his own. Paul, one of the things that we can say about this matchup is that Tre LaMar brings a fast-paced aerial style that Conard hasn't really competed against in this incarnation of his Grand Championship run. But we also know that Matt Conard is as well-rounded as anybody.
Oh yeah, just because he hasn't competed against it doesn't mean he doesn't know how to defend against it.
And truthfully, as I've said on more than one occasion, Conard, there's nothing that he can't do. He's not exactly an aerial wrestler, but we've seen him fly. He's not necessarily a striker, but we know he can throw hands with the best. He's not necessarily a submission artist, but we've seen him lock on and win matches by submission. There's nothing that Matt Conard cannot do, and quite frankly, that is why he is the Ryse Grand Champion, along with some nefarious means as well. But make no mistake about it, he can get it done inside the squared circle.
All that is true, but right now you can say the same about Tre LaMar. Tre LaMar is known for his aerial antics and his aerial tactics, but right now he is on the ground with Matt Conard, matching him hold for hold.
And don't get me wrong, that aerial style is spectacular, it's amazing, it's awe-inspiring, but Tre LaMar knows that's also a very high-risk style. He does not want to slip early on in this matchup because he has quite literally, as you said, talked himself into a championship shot. The entire complexion of Ryse could change with the outcome of this matchup. The potential of that Ryse the Contender tournament could change entirely.
Without a doubt, if Tre LaMar is able to pull out a victory here tonight, you would have to think he would be the man going on to the anniversary show to face whomever wins that Grand Championship. And think about this, if PB Smooth is able to win that #1 contender spot, he would be going up against his tag team partner.
2 feet firmly in the chest. Send Conard seeking the solace to the outside. The Grand Champion going to take some time to regroup, which again is very wise wrestling. Excuse me, but he's not safe out there.
That's the wrestling equivalent of a timeout. Matt Conard goes to that floor, but you don't think Tre LaMar is going to let that last too long.
Step up Hurricane Rana. And again, 2 feet firmly in the chest. Send Conard to the concrete. And LaMar looking to create a highlight reel moment in the feature presentation.
Conard was expecting that and got out of the way. Luckily for Tre LaMar, he was expecting Conard to counter.
Such quickness by LaMar. Soccer kick to the sternum of the champion.
Yeah, Conard able to duck out of the way twice, but not that third time.
Hey, come on, guys.
As they're out here on the floor, I would not say that this bodes well for either athlete in this case.
Well, the advantage here more is Conard, because let's face it, if they get Conard out here, he keeps the championship.
Very true. LaMar, despite talking his way into a championship shot, has to beat the champion to win that championship.
And let's be clear, he's got to beat him by a pinfall or a submission. If Conard gets himself counted out or disqualified, LaMar will win the match, but he will not win the Grand Championship.
LaMar caught himself. Trying to go for that soccer kick again. And he got caught. Oh, look out. And his spine just ricocheting off the apron.
Yeah, Conard, ever the veteran.
Again, when it comes to being a ring general, that applies to both inside and outside of the ring.
That's
Conard
right.
knew what to do and when to do it.
That's what I said. The seasoned veteran Matt Conard knew exactly how to counter that offense of Tre LaMar's.
And the obsessive nature of Matt Conard, you know that he was studying Tre LaMar for weeks prior to this matchup.
Sure, and that was even before he decided to put the title on the line. So even in a non-title matchup, the champ always does his homework.
And LaMar just got posted. He's seeing stars right now. His eyes drifted in the back of his head on contact there.
So those ring posts are solid steel. And when steel meets flesh and skull, bad things happen.
And look at how frantically Conard is pacing in the ring.
5 minutes.
Hey, let's face it, Conor's got a lot on the line here, too. This was not supposed to be a title match. He allowed Tre LaMar to get under his skin, and he accepted a title match from Tre LaMar. And now Conard, he's got to find a way to walk out of here with that grand championship.
And fish hooking the nose. This is that roughneck nature of Conard. We've seen a total attitude change from Conard.
Like I stated before.
And really, you know what it was, Paul? For many years, Matt Conard was legitimately underappreciated. And when he got his due, he's not going to sacrifice or relinquish it for anybody.
No, not at all. Like I said before, much like his running buddy, System Elite, right now the only thing Matt Conard cares about is walking out of that ring night after night with the grand championship still around his waist.
Look out! Oh, man. And Lamar's knee may have been wrenched in the process there. And if that's the case, if he's got a bad wheel.
Not only that, his head snapped back, too.
You be left like that!
Conard may want to make an example of Tre LaMar.
That's his problem.
It's almost uncomfortable to see the intensity in Conard's eyes.
Oh, there's definitely a big change in his attitude over this past year.
And again, textbook offense. Everything clean, everything smooth.
He also adds a bit of a maniacal streak now on top of everything else.
He has a bona fide mean streak. And again, everything we're saying here is why he is so dangerous.
And it's also why he is the current grand champion.
And see how Conard just knew exactly when to cut LaMar off.
You die!
What an innovative maneuver, jumping and a diving foot stomp.
He was able to take that drop kick and pretty much turn it into a stomp.
Paul, Conard's arrogance may come back to bite him here. Putting that championship on the line may come back to bite him.
Yeah,
and I don't think he'd be able to handle it. Psychologically, he would crack.
Not at all, but let's face it, for the past several minutes, Tre LaMar has taken a lot of punishment. Can he get himself back up onto his feet and back into this matchup?
And back up to a vertical base. LaMar reaching his second gear. Trying to rally here. Trying to make his name in one night. Trying to capture that Ryse Grand Championship. Up and over. Tre suckered him in.
That he did.
A rare time someone was a step ahead of Conard. Springboard clothesline.
He's got him hooked.
Could he do it? No.
It was very close, but Tre LaMar unable to keep Matt Conard down on the mat.
Paul, the question here is who will be the grand champion when we return to this building November 9th?
Right now, it's completely up in the air. This match can go either way with the amount of punishment both these men have taken so far.
Conard shrugs off LaMar. LaMar charges through, but Conard had it scouted, planted a back elbow right to the jaw.
Conard's got him hooked.
Tre counters. Tre avoids the contact again.
Rolls through.
As does Conard. What a chess match. Bicycle kick. He hit it.
The cover. But Conard was way too low on the body of Tre LaMar to hold him down for that. After that beautiful exchange by both men.
And still, think of how close that was, to your point. Had he been able to evenly distribute the weight just a little bit more. I mean, it's really a game of inches at this point for the grand championship.
He has till 5!
Don't start that, brother.
Muay Thai clinch as Conard burying knees to LaMar here.
Just viciously snapping Tre LaMar back with each one of those knees.
You wanted a title match.
LaMar may be out.
How do you feel about it now?
LaMar is
You still
barely
happy about
stirring.
the title match, Tre? How you feeling about it?
And this is where I think Conard sincerely is trying to make a statement.
I feel great. I feel wonderful about it.
because that will feed his ego.
And it's gone by 10 minutes.
Matt Conard, on every given night he walks into that ring, he wants to prove that he is not only the best in Ryse Wrestling, but the best in the world, and he is the greatest champion that Ryse Wrestling has ever seen. That is what Matt Conard wants to prove each and every night.
Cross body from LaMar. Hooks the leg.
Again, just that close. What a tremendous matchup we are witnessing here tonight.
Payway caught Conard on the top of the skull.
Oh, just like that, Conard found that bottom rope.
Wait, that's a good call from Josh Main. The hand came down for 3, but he saw the foot was on the rope prior to that. I'm going to give Josh Main credit. He made the right call.
Yes, he did. And give Conard credit for, despite that flurry from Tre LaMar, he knew exactly where he was in that ring and exactly what time to get his foot on that rope.
That was the right call. The most important thing is to get it right, and Josh Main did. So this matchup continues on. Can Tre LaMar do it? Can he shock the wrestling world? Can he shock the Pittsburgh wrestling scene and become just the 4th man to earn that grand championship?
Look at the agility of Matt Conard to get way up there and catch Tre LaMar on the side of the head with that kick.
And the desperation is written all over the face of the champion.
He's got him set up here now for the superplex. Tre LaMar trying to block it.
And this is a struggle here. LaMar knows how rare these championship opportunities are. This is his chance, but will this be his night? LaMar is perched, gonna take a home run swing. No water in the pool.
But he was able to roll through that. Conard caught him with the kick, though. LaMar
Conard
caught the
telegraphed it, and a huge lariat took LaMar out of his shoes.
Wow. Did you see his body just snap almost in half?
I don't know how LaMar survived that impact.
Matt Conard can't believe that he kicked out. He's taking huge exception with Josh Main right now.
One thing I can tell you, Paul, Josh Main, like the rest of our officials here, Nick Davidson, George Ross, they're all solid officials, so you got to go with Josh Main's ruling. If he says 2, then it was 2.
Without a doubt, we have some of the top officials in wrestling here at Ryse Wrestling.
You aren't championship material.
Well, he may pay, man. Matt Conard may pay for that.
LaMar could prove all of the critics wrong. Perhaps the biggest one is Matt Conard himself.
And right now, he's matching Conard blow for blow and kick for kick.
And win, lose, or draw, I'm going to tell you this, Paul. The young Tre LaMar is hanging step for step with the grand champion.
There will be no shame in this young man's game if he cannot accomplish winning that championship tonight. I can tell you that right now.
But if LaMar does, in fact, win the title, the entire complexion of Ryse changes.
Sure. Especially like I made this statement before. Should PB Smooth go on in the ride to win the Ryse of a
wait
Contender?
a minute.
Oh,
Conard,
he just caught Josh Main.
No. Conard used Josh as the shield. Inadvertent contact from LaMar. And Conard exploiting an opportunity. That's what that was. That was no accident. And Conard got spiked on his dome.
Dropped right on his head.
And where's the
ref is out.
Referee, and here comes System Elite, and we
Here
cannot
we go
allow
again.
this to happen.
Is this going to happen again? They are taking.
That was a virtual 3 count there, and System Elite is mugging LaMar.
They're beating the hell out of him. Oh, hold on! Call the coroner.
And System Elite is meeting PB.
And he has just laid to waste.
Oh, God. PB had Conard. Conard almost splatted on the concrete. Look out!
Look out, here comes Tre LaMar.
And somehow this matchup is continuing.
But our referee, he's still out. He's still unconscious.
Yeah, Josh Main's hurt.
And he is witnessing absolutely none of this.
And 40 Acres is in the ring with the grand champion.
Look out here. Version of Snake Eyes. LaMar with the drop kick.
Turnabout fair play in my book, Paul.
Oh, hey, let it happen. Why not? Hey, just remember.
System Elite tried to
System
save
Elite caused
Conor's
this.
tie. LaMar,
Big double
stomp.
stomp.
Oh, no way.
We could have a new champion.
No way. Oh,
wow. PB Smooth is escorting System Elite out of the building. Tre LaMar within inches of winning the grand championship. And this match, believe it or not, is continuing. I guess if the ref didn't see it, it's got to go on.
And PB Smooth, finally, somebody took care of System Elite.
That's the ref's fault.
But if you're Tre LaMar, what else can you do?
He was literally inches away from becoming the new grand champion.
LaMar hooks up Conard again for that spike. Conard countered.
Drops him on his head.
And that could be it. And it is. That quick, that impactful.
Matt Conard has retained.
The winner of this match is still your Ryse Grand Champion, the Reaper, Matt Conard.
Just like that, the Reaper once again retains the grand championship, but not without a lot of help from System Elite. Once again, coming to the aid of Matt Conard.
Bottom dropped out, and it was game over, but what a hell of an effort from Tre LaMar. Paul, I think we're out of time here. So, for IndyWrestling.us, the Indie Wrestling Network, and Ryse Pro Wrestling, you're Paul Atlas. I'm Jim Milano. We'll be back here in the Stronghold. November 9th. For the finals of the Ryse the Contender tournament, it will be PB Smooth versus Tony Johnson to find out who will challenge the Reaper for the Grand Championship at our 3rd anniversary show. We'll see you November 9th.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.